you've ever mixed chlorine and acid together and lived through it, hit that subscribe button. This is Chlorine King here. I got my good friend Danielle Lower, and we're going to talk about how it can be beneficial to your business working with a realtor. So Danielle, why don't you go and introduce yourself?
My name is Danielle Lower, and I'm a realtor right in the area. Eric and I actually met the first time when I discovered one of the listings that I had coming up looked like a swamp, and I was actually afraid that an alligator was going to come out of it.
Remember all the tadpoles in the pool?
So you came, got it clear in like 3 days, and I was like, that's magic.
Yep, other than creating tadpole genocide, it was a good experience.
It definitely was.
Yeah, and we've been working together since. So looking forward for us bouncing information back and forth and showing how you guys can benefit from working with realtors.
Awesome.
So let's go ahead and get into it. So how do you, as a realtor, go about searching for not only a pool pro, but just really any professional that you want to add to your vendor list?
Most of the professionals that I work with come from a referral.
Okay.
So somebody that I know and trust has used them before, said wonderful things about them. Rarely do I get to Google, but if I just can't find someone, that would be my second resort, is to look online and check out reviews.
Okay, cool. So is that how you found me at the end of the
Yes.
day?
Yep.
Okay.
It was.
Who referred you?
Sandy.
Oh, Sandy. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, she's one of my clients too.
Yep.
So yeah, referral and word of mouth is very powerful. So paid off obviously in this instance.
Yep.
So if you get multiple referrals from several different people and you start researching them, and how do you narrow it down to ultimately choose the pool professional you want to work with?
So 2 ways. The reviews definitely matter, but the professional, do they answer their phone and call me back in a reasonable amount of time? And do they show up when they say they're going to show up? And just, I think it's important to connect with the person beforehand and really kind of feel it out. But
Sure.
those factors are probably the biggest ones.
Yeah, I remember one of the things you kept gloating about was how I would send a text message before and after I was leaving the job, so you knew what was going on, so you
Yes.
can inform the buyer and seller.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because, a lot of times you don't even know if the pool company came, especially if it's for a service just to, routinely maintain the pool. If you look outside and your pool looks clear, you don't actually really know if they came or not.
Yeah, there's really no evidence unless you guys have cameras or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, well, that's good to know. So now that we talked about how you search and find pool pros, what would make you want to pass on a pool pro?
One of the things that would make me want to pass on a pool pro, and really any professional, is if they go there to do the job and they don't complete it.
Has that happened to you before?
It has happened.
Okay.
And they kind of, in the past, have given excuses as to why they had to come back, and I understand that treatment sometimes takes multiple visits, but you know when they just didn't complete the job.
Sure.
And also, if they pull up to the job and it's a beat up pickup truck and they've got a few things in the back, and, chances are they're not running a really just kind of tight business and really taking pride in the service.
And that's what I've talked about numerous times. You got to look professional to attract professional people and professional pricing.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And I think we were gonna talk a little bit about kind of the difference about, do you refer different companies to different people and
Yeah.
for reasons, right?
Yeah.
So I'll talk about that because, as you know, there's always someone that will do it for less, right?
Always.
So I
hate you
usually,
guys.
yes. So depending on the customer, I may offer a few and really be honest with them. This one is going to be cheaper, but these are some of the issues you might run into.
Gotcha.
And if you use this company, this kind of what you can expect. And also a third alternative for people with their homes is we're just going to maintain it ourselves when they purchase the home. And I know from personal experience, it's
Yes,
like,
she does.
yeah, just call me in 2 months when you have mustard gas in your pool, or it's, filled with algae, and I'll give you that pool service number.
Yeah.
But definitely, in some situations, I will refer the both. But I always give the warning. Here's what you can anticipate from the companies.
Now, to double up on that question, do you have different pool professionals or different just vendors in general for different areas, or just basically you have one professional for your area that you work in?
Pretty much, I have one professional. Like, I have you. And my cheap guy stopped, his business shut down.
Oh, how ironic.
So currently I have you. And then if I was going outside to St. Petersburg, I would refer to Derek, knowing
Gotcha.
the connection
Yeah.
between you guys. And
Yeah.
so that's about it right now.
Gotcha. So now that we figured out how you find a pool pro, what makes you finally choose one? What makes you pass on one? What type of work do you want them to do for your clients? Whether a buyer, seller, if it's different or...
It's, there's so many different things. So for a buyer, a pool inspection, I was amazed to find out the kind of list of items that needed to be addressed in my pool when I was purchasing a home.
Yeah, who did that inspection for you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was about $1,000 worth of repairs that the naked eye could not see.
Or if you don't know much about pools.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the type of jobs that I would refer to you are a variety of things. So if a pool has been neglected and it needs to be kind of brought back to life, I would call you for that. If we've had a bad inspection, whether I'm working with the seller or the buyer, I would call you and say, here are the things that came up, and they could be related to wiring with the pump or the system. Leaks. I mean, so just kind of miscellaneous items that would come up in an inspection, I would call you for. And then, of course, service. So if someone's getting regular maintenance or regular service, I would refer them to the pool company.
Awesome. So you can see where a realtor can be a good foot in the door with people, because they're the one that are selling the homes and working with the buyers and sellers, and they're sort of like the Rolodex of vendors for that new home purchase.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And you may do a home inspection or a pool inspection for somebody, and the next thing you know, now you're servicing their pool.
Yes.
Right? Or
Yes.
they're selling a home and buying a home, and now you've kind of retained multiple accounts from that purchase.
Yeah, and that's another thing to think about too, guys. So they're getting you in the door for the clients, right? You want to make sure that you do everything right and correct to make sure that their name's still left in good faith with the new buyer or seller, so they can continue working their business and improving their business. I would hate to leave something awry that you refer me to, and it looks bad on you.
That's such a good point, because as a realtor, I am so saddened to say that does happen, and
a lot
more often than I would like to admit.
Yeah, even in our own industry, same thing.
They just kind of dropping the ball at the most inconvenient times, right? So one thing that is great about you is that I know I can schedule for you to see a client, be with a client, and I don't even have to be there. I know that I don't have to monitor the conversation.
Yeah, you don't have to hold my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't have to be there to call you 50 times when you're not showing up, or so that is invaluable when you have vendors that you can say, here's what I need, and just let me know when it's finished. And it's invaluable.
And to take that even further, we're both friends with other realtors in the area. So when another realtor goes up to Danielle and says, hey, do you know a pool guy? Then I'm going to start earning their business. And it's just a snowball effect eventually. Now I'm working with several different realtors. and I make time for all of them because it's a win-win, really.
It really is. And, that happens quite frequently, actually. And, it's always great when you can refer someone and the person that you referred them to is excited.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, I'm so happy I met them.
Yes.
Eric is the best. Like, Jessica Bex was one of those people.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. So she asked me maybe a few months ago or something if I knew a pool guy. And I remember, very quickly afterwards, she was like, oh my God, thank you for sending me Eric's information. So it really is. You can have solid advocates for your business, marketing your business.
Yep.
And you have no idea that it's even happening until the people are calling.
Yep,
So
exactly.
pretty sweet.
Oh yeah,
sweet
absolutely.
Setup.
I've gotten, I can't thank you enough for all the business you've sent my way. It's been amazing, and it's all just marketing with realtors and the right type of realtors.
Yep.
People you want to work for. She works with a lot of high-end clients, and that's my market that I want to be in. So I make sure I market or work with her, and it's been awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been great. So, what are some challenges you've had with pool pros in the past? Before me, anyways.
So challenges with pool pros in the past, the biggest thing is not showing up. And if you don't show up, there's nothing beyond that.
Yeah.
So kind of circling back around, we were talking about not showing up or actually just not completing the job.
Yes.
Communication is huge in any field, but primarily in things like a pool or a roof, or where you don't really have to meet them, you don't have to be there. The only way you is if there is a problem,
Yep.
or if you contact me and say, hey, yep, I was there.
Yep.
So yeah.
Gotcha. So we've already sort of gone over about, she does recommend me a lot. To put a number on it, how often would you say you recommend me to a buyer or seller? And the reason I'm asking this question is so you guys can see the value in building a relationship with a realtor.
I would say between buyer, seller, or agent, that it would probably be on average once a week.
Okay.
So
There you go.
Yeah.
So you got at least one phone call coming in from a realtor if you build a strong relationship with them and do them right, and just make sure you get them taken care of.
Yep.
Gotcha. So what type of feedback have you seen? What are some of the really good feedback you've seen, but what are also some hilarious, but also like, oh my God, I can't believe I put that person in their backyard type of feedback? Like, what's sort of both gamuts?
So some of the good feedback, I remember just a few years ago, I had referred you to a woman, and she had a home right on the water in Madeira Beach. Her name was Linda.
Wolbert.
Yes.
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 And she's a very high-end client.
Yes.
And she owns a very successful business in
Yep.
Seminole. And
Yep.
and she is she's a very classy woman. So
She is.
you can't just send someone there, right?
Such a sweet lady. We still
She is.
service her to this day.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know the first time that you went there, she was just ecstatic that, she just felt so good about it. So that was, that's huge points for me too, because you're
Absolutely.
trusting in my judgment.
Definitely.
And the people that I send you are actually delivering.
Yeah.
One horror
I
story.
can't wait to hear this.
I don't even know where to start. I guess the first one that comes to mind is just my own personal experience. And I don't know if you want me to say this.
No, go ahead. I can always edit.
I
it.
hired the cheap person.
No, definitely
Right?
say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So personal experience, I hired the cheap person.
And we're leaving that in, by the way. I'm not editing
Okay,
it.
yeah. Because that's who I am. I know that when I'm hiring the cheap person, there's really a level of service that I can only anticipate so high.
Absolutely, yep.
So my thought process was, it's basic, not a big deal. It's just maintaining the pool, and I would see that he would be there for 2 minutes, and I started just watching more carefully, and I'm like, he's dumping a gallon of chlorine and I don't know, maybe acid on the other end. Who knows,
Splash and Dash Company.
Yeah, and he's there for 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then one time he cleaned the filter. And I knew
One time
he cleaned the filter.
That's awesome.
And I knew he cleaned the filter because my vacuum was like riding up the wall.
It
of
was
the
actually
pool.
working.
Yeah, it was like about to
Go
fly
figure.
out of the pool. And I was like, "What did you do?" You know? And he told me, "Oh, I cleaned the filter today." And I'm like, wonderful.
Yeah, great.
So then, kind of towards the end of our service relationship, he had not come for about 10 days, I think. And again, I'm kind of guessing because I'm not there monitoring him. I'm assuming if the pool is not green that he's come. And it was turning green. And I was like, why would I have a pool service company? It should never ever turn green, you know? And it wasn't after like a bad rainstorm or anything like that.
Just weekly service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I called him, he told me, "Oh, I had surgery on my shoulder and I couldn't come." And I'm like, is that a business? Like, you have surgery, so you can't come and you don't inform your clients ahead of time?
Communication is so important, guys.
Like, and so it almost makes me think, did you really have surgery?
Yeah.
Because it's so random and you are so kind of nonchalant about it.
you think
know?
something major like that, he'd make a big point about it.
Exactly. I'm not going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and that just kind of goes to show that they don't care. It doesn't really matter if they have the account or they don't.
Yep.
And, you know, I am with it enough to also understand that if you're making very little money on the pool, you're probably not putting your best effort into it.
Of course, you're going to cut corners.
Right?
Yeah.
And you
And
actually, I don't even understand how he stayed profitable, truth be told, because now we're maintaining the pool and cost of chemicals. I mean, even if he was buying them at wholesale, the price was just so ridiculous. So
Yeah.
kind of a lesson for definitely for me is that you totally get what you pay for.
So what that means now is she can market me better because she understands both sides.
It's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Like, you totally get what you pay for. And one of my friends once told me this quote, and it was in Russian, and he kind of like translated it loosely, but essentially the saying was that the cheap man pays twice.
Yep.
And it's the truth.
Yep.
You know, you find yourself in situations where you hire a company and then you have to hire the company you should have hired in the first place
To go
come
fix it.
correct the problem.
Yep. And then you're paying double.
And then you pay double.
Maybe even more because the company coming
Oh,
in to
yeah.
fix it is probably more expensive anyway. So
course.
probably paying a little more than double.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
a lot of great information so far. So I mean, really, the last question I have for you. So if I am Mike's Pool Service, for instance, just some random company, and I want to approach a realtor to hopefully earn their business, what's the best way to do that? What would say, if someone came up to you, what would be like, wow, I want to look further into that company?
Well, God, how do I? So I think there's two ways. Is you could approach on social media, but you definitely have to be like special about social media. You know, if
Yeah,
I
it's
get
so
a message, you know, hey, I got a pool service. Do you need any help? I'm probably not even going to respond.
Exactly.
But for example, like let's say you met someone in public, and you give them your business card or whatever it is, follow up
Yes.
on that.
Yeah,
Like,
call a week later.
Yeah, get their information.
Yep.
Because they might not need you right now, but when the time comes and I need someone, I need them right now.
Exactly. Yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not going back and, you know, trying to look and search. And if I have this information and I think, oh, you know, they presented themselves well, they, you know, seem to have it together, or I'm at least going to give them a call just out of almost sheer... Sorry. I'm going to give them a call almost out of sheer convenience and give them a shot, you know, and of course the presentation matters, how they approach it. But I think just approaching people and then remembering that you have to stand out, and you kind of can't depend on that first initial contact to grow the business.
Yeah, exactly. One of the very basic marketing things I learned in school was you need to put your brand out in front of someone at least 3 times before they start really subconsciously remembering you. So to go with what Danielle's saying, contact them, follow up several different times, put your face out there, put your number in their phone by texting them several times so they know, hey, this guy really wants my business, and then subconsciously they're going to start remembering you, and then before you know it, you're going to start getting calls.
That's right. And I mean, the other thing is give killer service, you know, be just be on top of it, be communicative. You can never communicate too much.
Exactly.
And really, once you do that 1 or 2 times, I'm pretty much sold.
They're not looking anywhere else.
Until something happens, you know? And even then, it's like, you probably get a couple flukes because I'm pretty much sold on you, you know?
Yeah, and that goes along again with what we talked about earlier about just making sure you're not only working on your reputation, but you're also working on her reputation or whatever realtor you're working with. So if she's inviting you into someone's backyard, make sure you take care of the client to the best of your ability, so that way both reputations are kept in good standing.
Yeah, that's everything.
Yep.
It really is. It's very important. It's definitely, as we as realtors do a ton of marketing for different professions, right? Because someone always needs something. And yeah, kind of just showing up and doing your thing, it also makes us look good.
Absolutely.
So it is important.
Off-topic question, well, not off-topic, but a random question thrown your way. How often, when you're going through a buying or selling process with a buyer or seller, are you asked, hey, do you know a person that does this? Hey, do you know a person that does that? Like, how often does that happen?
All the time. I don't think I have a single transaction that someone doesn't need a reference for at least one thing, and usually multiple people, but at the very least one.
So there you go, guys. Work with realtors, approach them, follow up, and earn their business, and you'll have business for as long as you're in business. So Danielle, I appreciate you taking the time to stop by and sharing this information with all my watchers, and I look forward to keeping the working relationship going.
Yes, me too.
All right, guys, have a good day.
Bye.
See ya.